phone's acting up. And now we go to the main event, September 11th, 1993. At 4:15 a.m., JR and Ken wake up in JR's father's condo. Ken pours from a Gatorade 2-liter into a glass. Want some? Ken said. Sure, JR said. You know I do. You know, Kyle thinks I'm crazy for drinking Gatorade for the hell of it, JR said. JR, I wish he would stop harping about Kyle. He's your brother, and he's serving the country, something I want to do. You decided about going to Kansas? Oh, yeah. You know, I haven't ridden this early in the morning by private jet since Aunt Kim took me to San Diego. 4:30 a.m. Mary Jo picks up JR and Ken and takes them to the Lubbock International Airport to board the plane with the wet Raiders to fly to Lawrence, Kansas. At 5:05 a.m., JR and Ken board the plane with the team. Coach Stonehill stops JR. Pump it up, swim real good, the coach said, tapping JR on the shoulder. At 5:25, the jet taxis down the runway and takes off for Lawrence, Kansas. JR's father had told him the night before that Ken would be eating on the plane, but he was to save room because JR and he were having breakfast alone. 7 a.m. Jim pulled his rental car, a 1994 Chrysler van, up to the gate and sees JR heading towards the car. Let the wrong commence, boy, Jim said. Good to see you, Daddy, Gerald said. So, Roy, are you going to settle down? Or are you going to continually run off like Kyle? Dad, I'm in college. I have to settle down. And to tell you the truth, I agreed to come to Texas Tech because I got tired of Kyle partying and letting almost anyone he knows on the ranch. Why do you think I stayed on? Kyle brings his girlfriend, later his wife. Barney on TV and his TV programs all the time. I can hardly breathe. Now look, Daddy, since I started dating Karen Kreider, I've been going to church. I've been going faithfully to class. Look, Dad, I love you, and I'm sorry about all the antics I pulled and the moping I did last year. Just like your mama. So emotional. They stopped off at IHOP for breakfast. 7:30 a.m. Back in the van, JR and his father talk. It's nice hanging out with you, Dad. Don't get smart aleck on me, Jim said angrily. Daddy, I'm not. You're always assuming that in me. when you should know not all of Mama's people are smart alecks. I'm sorry, son. Are you happy? At this moment, Daddy? You bet. Let's get you to the natatorium. 9 a.m. At the University of Kansas Natatorium, the swim meet begins with the diving competition. Jim is sitting in on the stands with Ken, Claude, and Bill Holden Sr. You see that, Bill? Jim said. That's my boy. You tell your kid to be nice to JR, or you'll lose your deal quick. I'll try. But he can sure be hard-headed, Bill Holden said. Karen Crowder dumped him at the beginning of the spring semester. He never got over it. Yeah, with JR, that remains to be seen. Meanwhile, down by the pool, JR hears the announcer call for Brent Clark. Go get him, man, JR said. Brent Clark, the announcer said. Texas Tech, born in Hillsboro, Texas. The triple somersault. Brent goes up to the diving board. You can see him raise his hand in the air and bow his head for a quick prayer. Then he plunges into the waters with perfect precision. He gets out of the water. Coach Thornton walks over to him. You did it, kid. 10:30 a.m. It is now time for JR's qualifying heat for the 50 freestyle. As he was walking to the pool's edge, his father tapped him on the shoulder. Go get him, son, Jim said. A male voice came over the speaker. On your mark, get set. The buzzer went off, and JR, with a push of adrenaline, was able to make it to the deep end of the pool. Don't stop, go, Ken said. Before long, JR is back in the shallow end of the fourth place. But you couldn't tell it by the look on his father's face. As soon as JR gets out of the pool, he gives his son a hug and takes him to the locker room to change. I'm getting the limo to take me and Claude back to the hotel for a little while. Warren Ortiz is going to be driving you guys. I'm assuming it's you and Ken for lunch. 11 a.m. Warren pulls up the van and Ken gets excited. Let's roll, he said, with both him and JR getting into the car. You know, man, I have to say, you are a far cry better than you were before we started that trip this past summer. I can appreciate that, JR said. Look, Jim Bob is a wet blanket, and I don't know how long this peace contract is going to last. Let's hope it does. JR, Brad is a wang. You know that I know that. Everybody knows that. You got a point. They drive to Kentucky Fried Chicken for lunch. 12:20 p.m. At the restaurant, JR and Ken talk. Thank you, and thank God. I'm full as a tick, Jared said. Oh yeah, I really am full as a tick, Ken said. Look at us. Why do we do this? We are still young, so relax, Jared said. Whatever. 12:40 p.m. Back in the car, JR and Ken continue some of their conversation. You know, JR, as much as I miss you being home, I have to say, Lubbock and Texas Tech has been good for you, Ken said. Well, Kenny, let me ask you this. Back home, do they have a swim team? You know, I'd be stuck back at the ranch. You were humble enough to be agreed with my dad that after 1 year at this college I should transfer to Texas Tech, Jared said. You know that, Kenny. First, stop calling me Kenny. Second,
oh shit.
You're...
Oh god.
Oh no, it's okay. Pause.
Alright. No kid.
Sorry about that, technical difficulties. We're just gonna go ahead and cut to the chase and get to the car. Back in the car, JR and Ken continued their conversation. You know, JR, as much as I miss you being back home, I have to say that Lubbock and Texas Tech has been good for you, Ken said. Well, Kenny, let me ask you this. Back home, do they have a swim team? You know, I would be stuck at the ranch. You were humble enough to be in agreement with my dad that after 1 year at Odessa College, I would switch over to Texas Tech, Jared said. You know that, Kenny. First, stop calling me Kenny. Second, you're a lot easier to hang out with most of the time whenever Brad is out of the picture. At 3:35 p.m., they get on the jet to fly, and the jet takes off to fly them from Lawrence, Kansas back to Lubbock. When they got back to Lubbock, the chauffeur drove them to the condo long enough for Ken to get his bags packed and his car. But JR decided to stay one night at the condo with his father and Claude. We hope that you've enjoyed listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Consort. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. But become a part of the adventure. This is J.R. Hendrick saying until next time, take care. God bless you.